single nightly ETL job was costing $256 per run, more than the rest of the account combined. The culprit? A 4x large warehouse burning 128 credits an hour for 2 hours on a job that barely needed compute, when a large warehouse at just 8 credits an hour would have cut the cost to $4. Snowflake Virtual Warehouses are the compute engines that power your queries. In this lesson, you'll learn how to size them, scale them, and avoid costly mistakes. When you run a query from your browser, it goes through Snowflake Services, which dispatches it to a virtual warehouse, a cluster of compute nodes providing CPU, memory, and cache. It executes SQL queries and DML operations, handling all the heavy lifting on your data. It's separate from storage, so you can scale compute independently. Think of it like a fleet of delivery trucks. Small warehouse equals small truck, large warehouse equals big truck. And because it can be sized, suspended, and auto-scaled, you only pay for what you use. Warehouse sizes double in resources at each step. X small has 1 node, then sizes like X large, 2X large, 3X large, 4X large has 64, 5X large, and finally 6X large has 128. Choosing the right size depends on query complexity and concurrency. Start small and scale up until query time halves. When queries queue up, auto-scaling adds more clusters of the same size. This handles variable concurrency but can spike costs, especially with multiple clusters. Set min and max cluster counts carefully to get the best results. Auto-suspend parks idle warehouses, set timeout aggressively to save credits. Auto-resume starts on new query, so the warehouse is resumed automatically. Start with an X small warehouse. Scale up until query time halves, then at medium size, use P95 execution times to decide. If under 10s, downsize, over 60s, upsize or optimize. Next, isolate workloads into separate warehouses for ETL, BI, and ad hoc. For heavy workloads, consider a large warehouse. Finally, define your target time thresholds to guide sizing decisions. The root cause? The team assumed a bigger warehouse would make the job finish faster with no real cost trade-off. But the job only needed a large warehouse. The 4x large ran the same job in 2 hours at 128 credits hour instead of being right-sized, so cost scaled with warehouse size while the job itself barely benefited. The fix was to right-size the warehouse down to large, which runs at 8 credits per hour, and optimize the slowest queries. Runtime dropped from 2 hours to 30 minutes, and cost per run plummeted from $256 to $4, a $252 saving every single night. The key lesson: measure before you size up. This is the exact mistake from the incident. The warehouse was sized for X large, costing $256 per run for a job that only needed a large, which brings cost down to $4 per run. Always start small and monitor performance before scaling up. Using one X large warehouse for ETL, BI, and ad hoc queries leads to resource contention and unpredictable performance. The fix: separate warehouses, ETLWH at X large, 600s suspend, ByWH at medium, 300s, ADHOCWH at small, 60s, eliminate contention and make cost tracking straightforward. A long auto-suspend timeout like 3600 seconds keeps the warehouse running idle for an hour, wasting credits. The fix drops that to 60 seconds, so it suspends within a minute after idle, cutting costs right away. To diagnose slow queries, check query history for spillage filtered to the last hour with DATEADD and current timestamp. If bytes spilled to remote storage, 0, increase warehouse size or optimize. Also review warehouse metering history for idle time and warehouse load history for concurrency. Key interview topics: interview questions for SnowPro certification. Understand the concepts of sizing, scaling, and cost optimization. These frequently asked questions cover common concerns. Remember to monitor and right-size your warehouses regularly. To recap, start small, monitor performance, and scale wisely. Use auto-suspend aggressively and separate workloads. That's how you keep your Snowflake bill under control. Thanks for watching. The full article and code examples are covered in detail at TheCodeForge.io.